So Guru is a cybersecurity already. He's into cybersecurity. He's learning. Uh, he's a very passionate learner. He keeps breaking his head on testing. So, but he should break the box. But he'll keep breaking his head because he's still learning. When we are in the learning stage, we have to break our head. Then we're gonna break others, right? And we have learned. I think Yadunandan has got a lot of expertise. How his manager is gonna break his head. Yadu said because he's an expert.
Yes.
So, okay, let's start because we have very less time. Start the content, right? Let me share the screen. I think window. Okay, all right. I don't have to introduce myself because most of you know me either as a, I'm going to say, as part of the team, as Abhishek said, he was working as part of
Yes.
my team. So technically reporting to me, say on the business as usual. So we used to work together closely along with other team members. So no need to introduce, but yeah, from the other people also you already know because you have been working either directly or indirectly. We've been associated at a professional level or personal level. So, but this we're gonna keep it at the professional level. So I want to make sure that I just reiterate. Even though this session is at the business working hours time, that's why I want to don't want to keep it discreet. I want to keep it very reserved. I want to make sure the product, our company logo, brands are all represented because the business hours is being taken off for this session. So that's Tezzeret, that's where we all belong to, and it's Australia's and Australia and New Zealand ASX listed company, public limited, number one. Now back to myself. I'm an author on network, DSME, distinguished subject matter expert on InfoSec. Just I've cut it off. Sorry for that. DSME because I've been working closely with security consortium to give back on certain exams and standards and all this stuff, and standards on PCI front and some other also some other forum, and SAGI and special interest groups and all this I participate. So some of the certs which I hold at this point of time, for me to claim I am an information security distinguished subject matter expert, I'm a gold standard CISSP certified, CISA, PCI DSS from payment card industry, COBIT, control objectives for ITIL, a licensed penetration tester, LPT, from EC Council, ECSA, ECH, Microsoft, Cisco, and CompTIA. So a few more certificates, but so just good enough, I think. So what is the agenda for this particularly this session is we will be touching some information security basics, information security governance, risk management from the initial perspective, but actually it's more than that. It's security operations is also included, but initially the content is going to be covering these topics, and after that moves to operation. But actually most of you guys from operational background, so most of you, especially I think Abhishek and Yadunandan,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, both are from operation background. So the security operation perspective, the subject, the domain of security operations will find more interesting and more driving for you to into the infosec space. Why? Because that is easy to understand, because most of the content will connect to what you do, and in a much better fashion you will be able to correlate and you know um, bring your own perspective to the security operations, because you might be doing certain things at the network level. You might be backing configuration, or you might be doing automation there, but from the security perspective, what the fundamentally what you need to bring your tune your mind towards the security aspects of it. Operations is good, but security operations is having a mindset which is security driven. So that's what this session, the session on security operations, will enable you to do in terms of understand that. you're just not an operational guy or a security operations guy. It means what and all you have to take care under the security operations. So objectives are actually much more than this. Actually, let me reiterate. This domain of information security, cyber security is huge. It's ocean. There's no boundaries limit to what you can learn out of in this domain. Means a person can, because with a lot of dynamicity of dynamicity in the current space happening with respect to cloud, with respect to what is that, microservices, I would say, microservices, containerization, and Dockers and stuff, right? So, and also more on uh, it has evolved. We used to platform used to be the last stage when we speak, as a service offering, but it's gone below down, right? Below the platform, the subsystem and level, and even containerizing. You have a Docker and you have multiple containers and all this stuff. So a lot of dynamicity. When I said the word dynamicity means because there's a lot of changes, a lot of new tools, a lot of new things happening, a lot of new services coming, because everything on the cloud is more on automation driven. Everybody wants to automate things and cut the number of employees, and that's where things are moving on the cloud. But there is a risk always. That's where is the bigger subject which comes in is risk management on the cloud. That's a big subject on cloud. As the number of operations are cut in terms of things are automated, and number of employees have been cut because you have enabled automation. So, but there is a higher risk, and that's where the risk management comes into picture. So, InfoSec concepts and objectives, guidelines, standard process. People are waiting. Who is this? Hang on. Oh, he dropped out. Okay. So, risk management and tools, developing information security awareness programs, security governance versus management. So let's jump quickly. So on a very fundamentally on a principles level, there are three things we talk when we talk about information and its security. On cybersecurity space, there is an asset. And when you talk about asset, and it has got value, and there are three things we talk there. So means you need to protect the asset, you need to safeguard the asset. So that's what we call as a security principles, which is in a put it in a triangle fashion. It's called triad. So confidential, integrity, and availability. So what is that you do is, as an information security professional, you have the responsibility to safeguard information, which is a value, which is value for the organization. Information security asset, which is value for the organization. Any asset which has got value has got data, and those have to be safeguarded. So three parameters on security principles, and fundamentally these three principles have to be satisfied. Means you need to make sure your confidentiality of the information is protected, and you need to ensure the integrity is you need to make sure the integrity is also protected. Means you need to make sure integrity, there's no compromise, there is no alteration, right? Integrity is all about changes. Integrity is all about you not obey, means no manipulations. Integrity is all about there is no manipulation. The data is present as it is. Data is presented as it is. That's integrity. Destruction, when the data gets destroyed or there is a high availability but it doesn't kick off and there's no availability. We talk about big things, but there is no availability. Network itself is down, data is not moving. That's it, done. No need to discuss anything beyond on the confidential integrity. When the data is totally unavailable, right? Totally unavailable. So we talk about confidential integrity when the data is unavailable and it's got into the hands of a wrong person. Then we talk about how much of the confidentiality is lost, how much of integrity is impacted. But if the data itself is basically unavailable and is safe, but so then we don't talk about confidentiality and integrity. The primary parameter, which is the utmost important parameter talk about is availability. Now, talk about operational technology and IT, information technology. Information technology is more focused towards information. So operation technology is more focused towards operation. Ideally speaking, in the real world scenario, when we look at this IT and OT differences, we talk about operation technology part. When we talk about the SCADA and IoT controls, because more on operation perspective, they focus more on operation perspective. So the idea of impact, when we talk about from these two, even though there is impact, all the three parameters, security principles fundamentally are getting impacted in both, but the idea of the operation technology is more on operation perspective. The amount of data involved could be lesser. Maybe a control plane. You guys understand control plane very well because most of you come from the network background. The more on a control plane perspective rather than the data plane perspective. So the control plane getting impacted is much lesser impact than a data plane being impacted and lost. It's gone into the hands of a wrong person. So that's where this bifurcation is shown here in terms of confidentiality is more, you can see here. So this IT is covering more on confidentiality. So ideally speaking, to be honest, both will cover all the three parameters. But the primary parameter which will be concerned is in IT is confidentiality, because once the data is gone into the hands of a wrong person, so then anyway, if they manipulate and post it across on a public media, the integrity is gone. So that's an idea. So that's why IT data driven, right? IT data driven, because both data and control plane here more on a the control plane perspective. So that's why there's a bit of a mismatch in this alignment, misalignment. So very importantly, if you look at if you put two triads or two triangles and this beautiful two triangles merged together will lead to these parameters are the most important when we talk about information security services, right? Or information security principles are three, but you can further go into six. Now if you look at the confidentiality in this triangle, on the one side of the triangle, confident integrity lying there, to make sure your confident integrity, authentication is a basic measure which can provide you basic measure. When I say basic, means it's very basic. So authentication can help you maintain your confidential integrity, because you have authentication. Maybe it's a single factor or a multi-factor. So that's a different story. We are not talking here all those details. Confidential and availability. Non-repudiation is another parameter which most often spoken, because somebody might deny, saying no, I did not receive the data. No, I did not receive this. I did not do that. So very, very important. Just opposite to this authentication, non-repudiation exists here, because you need to ensure the person cannot non-repute, means he cannot tell I did not. He is authentic. He is responsible for what means for that act, or he has received a document and he has digitally signed. Non-reputation comes more often spoken with the digital signatures. The way to get make sure we satisfy non-repudiation is digital signature, so that he cannot deny the fact that he did not sign. Because with other signatures still you need to then send for forensics investigation whether the signature is done, and there's a specific specific skill required for a hand signature, whether it is from him or not. It's not a digital forensics, but digital non-repudiation is under digital forensics. So availability, code validation. Example here, certain times the codes can be very fragile. They're not they're not written. They're loosely written. They're not very and loosely written, and there are a lot of open APIs and stuff which is not secure, or there can be places where you can take advantage, to do some sort of manipulations and stuff. So that meant lead to integrity, and can in turn lead to unavailability, because there can be a DDoS or DOS attack through such. So that's about very, very importantly, rest of the things are here. I am not a slide reader. Most of you might know. that I don't like to read slides. In the last few years, whatever I put my own content or any content, I don't read slides. I just bring what I've gained through experience. So if anything, more you want to know, you can ask me offline or raise a question, at the appropriate time. Very importantly, it says here integrity property because of safety consideration. Yeah, I said operational, right? Safety. Yeah, but uh, more on a practical perspective, I've given already the insight to that, why it is like that. Okay, now this one was an additional thing which I just added today, because considering that most of you guys might be looking at what does it look like for me, for my in terms of so much information on internet, so much of talks and so much of topics. So you might be thinking, what could be my life in cybersecurity? What could be my life in InfoSec? So what are the, just to answer this particular question, I would like to take up first, the generally speaking, 8 domains of cybersecurity, that 8 domains of cybersecurity community are, means the 8 domains are constantly spoken, and they are classified even in most of the certifications. They take these topics as a domain knowledge to be fulfilled for you to be, before you take up the exam, they say these are the areas you have to be specializing or gaining knowledge, right? And very, very importantly, all these areas, right, you might be will open up an opportunity for you. Security and risk management. Remove the security part. Risk management, risk assessment. So risk management professional, RMP, is a one specific domain. You might be there are multiple people, multiple opportunities, and multiple people I have seen. There are many people taking up risk roles, just risk roles. There's nothing else. They become just risk professionals. So that's an area of focus. So that's one job. That's not just one job. Risk consultant, risk analyst, risk assessor, risk management professional. So a lot of things, right? Like a PMO, project management office, like a risk management office, RMO. You never heard. You don't do Google. You don't see this. This is what my brain is pushing. That's what is the future, right? So asset security is another very important domain. What do they do? They are part of the bigger team, maybe doing business impact analysis, BIS. Once again, it's part of the things overlap here. Asset security. There might be like IBM's got nobody from IBM. So IBM's got this workstation compliance. Used to have this workstation compliance tool. So and why is that tool? The tool takes care of making sure that all the workstations are compliant. There are multiple people sitting and doing the job of just checking every day in, day out who does what, and if there is an alert coming in, and then push, and if continuously, continuously, if the alert keeps coming for the workstation, then escalate to his manager, and then get that system compliant. Asset security. So I'm just talking one. There are tons of tools there in the market, even for asset security. So security engineering is another one big domain, purely engineering domain. Here we talk about all those core security things, developing those, engineering those products, engineering those solutions and services. Security engineering ties back with security architecture. Security architecture, very, very important. That's a core security. I always talk, whenever we talk security architecture, it's a core domain. Security engineering, is also a core domain. It's not the school subject, but it's also practically, you need to be good at it. Good at these, subjects for you to be a really good, professional. Communication network security. So that's where I always say, the big problem with people is, we are all, even we all, means including we all think, oh, we have gained enough, we have learned enough, but we are still, sitting in a nutshell. So because community and network security, communication and network security is one fundamentally a very important subject, because most of the people lack knowledge on this, and they don't really make anything big. Why? Because if you don't understand properly how the communication works, and part of the network security, network security, then you're still, as an information security, cyber security professional, you might be still working, doing some task which is routine or robotic in nature. but you're not gonna make an big impact. It was very, very important fundamentally to understand communications, which is telecommunication network security. So that's where I say any one of the domains which you're good at, or two multiple domains you're good at, that's a good thing to do. That's a good thing to have, actually. Good thing to have. Good thing to do is just add another domain as your strength, so that you're strengthening your overall profile. So I think this is the overall profile, cybersecurity profile. And if you want to be good at cybersecurity, you have to grade yourself, self-assessment. What am I good at? So just telling tons of things in the universe space will not make you an expert. So really, without having any bugs and all this, really you need to be in a position to give. Somebody gives you something, just check and tell. That's it. This is what it is. This is what is wrong in this, or this is what is good in this, and this is what we can improve. And that brings you a makes you a good cybersecurity guy if you have that any of these domains, including network. So very important self-assessment. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many domains you are good at? Which domain you are not good at? I mean, still you are a cybersecurity. Welcome to cybersecurity, because still you can be part of the cybersecurity. Not everybody will be knowing and everything. Later you can add some skills just to manage yourself up. Maybe you don't want to be a software development security guy 100%. Nobody wants to do. As a cybersecurity professional, you don't want to become a software development guy. But software development security, knowing and understanding what are the parameters you have, which are required. So say to develop a software securely, implement the secure software development lifecycle, SDLC, part of it, and what stage, and how it has to be implemented, and how do we bring in different modeling, software modeling models together, and all this. So we'll help you, to be a seasoned cybersecurity professional. So identity access management, once again, ties back here, or from network perspective, ties back here on systems perspective. Means it connects here. It just goes back. When you have an infrastructure, you have an IAM for sure. So security assessment and testing is one special focus domain, which purely is security. It's a testing, security testing, and assessment is also a part of it, or testing is part of the assessment. Somebody wants to do just review, somebody wants to do test, somebody wants to verify. It just depends what they want to do, but it's all part of this. It's a purely it's a very focused domain, wherein you don't bring in any means if you are an infrastructure guy or a network guy, you might have not done any of this, but maybe your role might have, as part of the network security, might have let you open some reports and see what was the report and what happened. Or maybe report came to you and said this have to be fixed. You already opened the report, which was testing was already done and report was shared. So you might have already come across these outcomes of those assessment and testing, or you might be part of those testing also. It depends on your organization. Security operations, once again, this is a long, it's a very long subject. It's security operation covers IT inside it. When I say IT, it's everything is in one. So everything is there under IT. Now IT is upgraded to IT security operations. You can call it as IT security operations. Simple. So software means there are roles which are specifically opens up here on security operations. SOC role we talk more oftenly, but there are roles which we talk about IT managers upgrading themselves to IT security managers, or security ops managers. So different roles, many companies have many roles, their own roles with full definition of such role, unique definition. Software development security. This is most happening because most of the software developers traditionally they lack security knowledge, and now it's not anymore like traditional. Even if you hire a software developer, with a traditional software development, just knowledge of software development, but without having security, but they have to be trained on basics of security, what and all to be taken care. So that's where a lot of awareness trainings and additional training modules gets added. I'm not gonna go very deep into all this, right? But it's very clear. So operational security, once again. So all connected subject. For person who can connect, it's all connected. Availability. We talk about availability on multiple levels. We talk about availability at network level. We talk about availability at systems level. We talk about availability at physical level. We talk about availability at people level. We talk about availability at every space. As availability need to have high availability. When we talk just availability, it's availability. We talk highly available means we have redundancy. That's why it's called, we bring in redundancy. So yeah, we know what is RAID, we know clustering, we know load balancing. It can be, when I say load balancing, application load balancers, network level load balancers, application level clustering. It's more of clustering is on application level. We all talk clustering only at the application level. Most clustering word itself got derived at that level. Network, redundant data and power lines, once again at the power and data, network layer, physical layer. Software and data backups, means we talk about having redundancy at the data. Means we might have an active running. That's part of the clustering maybe. Software and data backups helps you to have the information available, archiving feature, auto backup, a full backup, incrementals and stuff, right? So disk shadowing, co-location offsite facilities, rollback functions. I'll tell you, right, is there's a tons of things. It's just few things, co-locations or shared locations kind of thing. Co-locations, two people, two. And it's not shared location. It's co-location is co-location data centers. Sorry for that. So I was talking about shared location. That's different. Co-location is just co-location data centers and offsite facilities. It means you are not physically the space is owned by somebody and you're just using the rack is provided by them. You're using and you own the rack key and you just lock it up, lock and use. So rollback functions, fall over. Just give me a minute. Just I have 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, so sorry for that. So offsite facilities or where you store some example data backed up medias can be sent through offsite facilities. Rollback function at all levels. You want to commit a change and you want to roll back. That's rollback function. Failover. Integrity, once again, at the integrity level, we always talk about hashing provides integrity, and very important. Integrity of the data is protected. Means there is a file and there is a malware which is changing the executable file behavior. Integrity is lost. Your system is compromised. That's what we bring in here. Very important. That's why. Ransomware, ransomware causing issues. I think ransomware story. Abhishek has got a story. Can tell that. Siemens ransomware story. Do you remember?
Yes.
What happened?
Yeah, I remember that.
So what did ransomware do? So yeah, just to cut it short because we have very less time. So ransomwares, we already know they were evolving and they infected one of the hospitals and the files got logged and they want to have a contingency planning, crisis management, and they asked to support and we get into the call midnight. I went home and is just trying to lock down the firewalls and see a lot of traffic moving. And the only crisis management why we are trying to do at that point of time is because they should not propagate further. The systems and then antivirus team go or pulled in to check whether what three types of antivirus, two types, Sophos and all other. Still, I can remember exact situation. And then they said they updated all the systems and whatever systems were tagged as we used this. We used a script. I wrote a script immediately to scan. Luckily, at that point of time itself, I had got this capability here. Let me tell you, I was on a network, but I got this capability here already. And I want to remind maybe Abhishek can now connect. Even though we were on purely on network and yeah, I was also SOC, right? Security. What is that? What is that? I know. See. excellence. What is that? I forgot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Center of
COE,
excellence. Sorry.
Center of
Say,
Excellence.
okay, that's
Yeah.
where maybe I was already working on that.
Yeah.
So then, no, I forgot. I was made a sponsor for the Center of
Yeah, yeah,
Excellence.
yeah, you were leading
So
that.
yeah. So then we wrote scripts to scan quickly using Nmap. I wrote a script and gave the script, and we scanned our team. I think one of the other guys, and I don't know if Abhishek gave the script to scan, but I think one of the other guys was scanning. Kamlesh was scanning, and he got those systems, and he communicated back with antivirus saying these are the systems we need to take control. That's isolation and quarantine process. We wanted to isolate the systems first, and then quarantine them, take control of them, and then perimeter hardening, perimeter stuff. So that's how, right? Way many years before, way beyond, you're already working those kind of things. I think we should be advancing now. No more. So very important. That's why data integrity, configuration management, system integrity, uh, configurations should be kept intact, and there should be no such changes which is happening, unauthorized changes, right? Change control, once again, change control is to protect process integrity, that focus on process integrity. Configuration management focus on system integrity. Hashing focus on data integrity. There's different levels of integrity we are talking now. Access control, physically and technical access controls will focus on that integrity of that. So by looking at the logs, we check, and the logs reveal that whether there is any compromise in these systems or not. So looking at all these things, you guys are working, maybe some of you guys, or maybe most of you are smart enough, you might be working very dumb, just doing a robotic task, just click, write something. But you never thought how things can be smartly addressed. You see some issue, you don't connect, you don't look at the logs, you don't do any checks, you just go solve the problem. The problem will come back because maybe there is a bug in the particular particular update you released, or a bug in the particular code, or a bug in the particular operating system or platform itself. The bug is triggering certain things, and it is failing, and you go and fix, and it keeps coming back until you really go to the root cause and see what is the problem. Why is that it's breaking, right? Software access control. So anyway, access control very much clear. Technical access control, logical access controls, your authentication schemes. So authentication is not good enough. Okay, what is more required is more than authentication, multi-factor authentication, along with authorization levels, who can do what, and very clear definitions mapped to the roles. What they have. So maybe there are 10 operators, 10 network operators, but not all the 10. Maybe you want to standardize. Yeah, that depends. If you want to standardize, then all 10 will be doing the same job. The authorization level will be same. So I don't comment this is right and this is wrong. It is depends on the organization. What is their call? What is their definition, and what centralized, decentralized, or mix approach? Approach I'm talking about. Software digital signing. Anyway, there's no Microsoft. You signed. You download driver. You get to know when you go to your device manager and you see it's digitally signed or not. And you can also do. There is some tool on the Windows. You can check whether there is any problem, and there is any. And it has now Windows has built things within the operating system that try to download gives a warning. It's not a Microsoft officially signed thing, and do you want to still install? This software looks like is not recommended. And browser level, API level subsystems also got this intelligence now. The moment you try to go to some website and download something, it gives a pop-up. Looks like this site is not recommended. And subsystem, I mean, now another product vendors who's developing another intelligence, malware prevention systems. They bring a plugin, and they say your browser is not smart enough. We bring you the capability to make your browser a very smart browser. I mean, make your browser now smart enough to detect such browsing attempts, which might be risky. So the plugin comes and sits there, for your antivirus plugin, Trend Micro add-on. So like this, tons of things going across. I'll tell you, this domain is like vast, and tons of opportunities for smart people. So transmission. CRC is a basic function, cyclic redundancy check is a very basic function. You don't rely on CRC 32-bit functions and all this anymore. So it's just a basic measure, CRC32 kind of thing. This is the layer 2. But you use much more than CRC, right? Means hash computations and all this to see that data is intact, data is protected. See, one slide itself, I told you, right? This slide, I did not tell you guys probably. I told to somebody, I don't recall. But this whole slide here itself is a 2-day training officially, and we charge in dollars for the customers. That's a reality. And we charge dollars in customer for the customers. When customer said we want our InfoSec team to be upscaled, okay, no problem. We'll refresh, but we will club these kind of trainings with some practical illustrations so that certain point of time, it doesn't get too theoretical, right? Means show something, how things can work. Yeah, confidentiality, encryption for data at rest. Data at rest is data which is sitting on the computer. It doesn't have to be database. See, that's why it says whole disk. Doesn't have to be database everywhere, every time. There are tons of types of database now. So I don't know how many people know there are different types of database: hierarchical, non-hierarchical, flat database, file structure, file flat system database. In that also now there are performance databases, and there are so many MariaDB. You have Redis. You have you have many. So DB, traditionally we are talking only SQL, NoSQL, just on a high level. SQL, NoSQL, structured database and non-structured database. MySQL, and Microsoft SQL and DB2. These are the traditional database we used to talk. But now there are tons of database. For logs, you don't have to use a structured database. You can use non-structured database. So you need to understand all this. Just thinking I'm doing something is not good enough, right? Encryption for data in transit is it is moving. This is on transmission. Most of the network guys are pretty much excited about this because keep talking about, okay, data transiting, SSHR connections are encrypted, IPsec tunnels are running. When I access remotely, I'm secured, and I point-to-point tunnels are existing there, and there is encryption over that. MPLS is running, MPLS IPsec is running over that. A lot of these talks. GRE, IPsec or GRE is running on that, or a layer 2 technology, and on top of that there is a security implemented. So lot of things, right? Lot of those stuff. Access control. Yeah, I think on a very, I'll tell you, this is a big subject. What will cause what issue? Spoofing attempts leads to compromise of these two security principles: tampering, repudiation. Non-repudiation is a defensive effort. Repudiation is a compromise. Repudiation causes integrity, information disclosure. But until the information is manipulated, you don't tag this. Denial of service, availability is considered away. Elevation of privilege here. Sorry, I'm upfront telling the slides will not be shared because this is not any. This is official training program that delivered 2 days program for certain security, upscaling. So I will not be able to share any content. Maybe I'll give some references you can later study. Access control, once again, we talk about access control very importantly. You all might have come across every single access control, logical or physical access control, will have authentication to it. Otherwise, there is no meaning in access control. An open door is not an access control. A closed door with a lock is an access control. Authentication. So what are we trying to do under authentication? Identify, right? Without identifying, if you're authenticating, that is not called to be an authentication system. Means whom are you authenticating? If you don't identify, you cannot authenticate. So that's a story. So you can see that access protection is that's also needs authentication. So data protection, maybe you don't need authentication. Data might be just locked for you. Encryption. So that's how it is, access control, right? So relevant from the authorization perspective, right? Every single module here needs authorization. So means authorization is required, means authorize such an important function. Most of the case it's neglected. Most companies are neglected because they enhance authentication and they think that authentication is very strong. Then I don't care about authorization. That's what is going on across the world. Now, with zero trust, which is a different case, authorization is taken over. Zero trust brings authentication as one of the prime important thing, and further authorization against means who is the authenticator, and he's trying to authenticate against what, and what should I authorize, whether what is the level of trust level this subject accessing an object. What is the trust level of the object is also measured, and based on his trust level and based on his compliance level, so you'll be provided access with that's a zero trust principles. So resiliency support, yeah, once again, very important, high availability, right? Accounting, resiliency support, accountabilities, and security audit needs accounting. Without means if there is no accountability, there is a failure in the audit. Means there should be full accountability of it. So that's accounting. So you can similarly, I think it's okay. This is against access control. So this is against CIA. Data protection means we are trying to protect the data and not talking availability. Availability is a different domain by itself. That's it. Resiliency means availability straight away. Security audit talks about these two. Security audit doesn't really focus on availability because you are doing an audit on a data which is available. You don't do audit on a system which is switched off. If there's say system is off for forever, it is not used. Do you go and do an audit? It'll laugh at you. So you're telling he is a moron. He's not an auditor. So that's the understanding. Okay. Any questions until now? Maybe we can eat 10 slides maybe for 1 hour. That's max. Because it's ocean. You can move one pebble out of the ocean. But there are millions, trillions.
Yeah, that's right.
As of now, okay. But please provide this keywords, Manju, so that we can go through it.
Yeah. I think I can give some references, right? I think you can go to read. I think it'll be good. So, but there's more on more connected towards what you all do. There's nothing new apart from these new words. Maybe you might have heard CIA, but rest all is pretty much standard, right? This resiliency and all this. So, good practices for CIA. So separation of duties means you don't do everything. You don't do you are not an approver and you're not an executor. So there are and you don't sign a check and you don't write a check also. Signing authority is different. Mandatory vacation, send people on vacation and see why, and then take up that role. Then check what's happening. You might see some fault in the process, or you might see some issues. Job rotation, give opportunity for people so that they also learn new things, and job rotation will also help with if there is any CI compromise, it will help. Least privilege means give what access based on the least privilege perspective. Need to know basis, raw job role based access, RBAC. Need to know once again whether why do they have to know is the question. Don't just give. He comes and asks you, give away everything. That's why I said just give what is required. Yeah, dual control, very important. Dual control is two people controlling, means authorizer and approver are two different set of people, so which is good. So that means there are two keys required on your physical lock on a bank. You have a locker, safe locker, and they will ask you to bring your key, and they will bring one key. They'll put both the keys. Dual control. Then the locker opens. A lot of things, right? Okay, very fundamentally basics. This is what is the basics of this whole universe. It means it's not universe, it's a world. All the IT companies in this world, all the non-IT companies in this world, most of the non-IT companies also have IT. That's why I'm saying non-IT companies also. Now every non-IT company is also having IT process. They have computer system, they are doing some billing, they are doing some GST, they have some lodgements, they are doing tracking, they are doing that, this, and our softwares are sitting there. So there's IT. There's a small IT staff there also. So most of the things, aligning, most of the companies, that's why I said IT and non-IT, they have to, align their security objectives with mission goals and objectives. Means business objectives, business mission goals and business objectives. So aligning security, that's very, very important. So there are two approaches to it. I think we used to talk in the network days of design, top-down approach and bottom-up approach. I used to speak about this. I don't know. Especially Siemens time I spoke. I don't know, after that I got any opportunity to talk, but rather I was doing some architecture designs and stuff, so I don't talk. I just do. So top-down approach, top-down approach is very simple. It's like coming from management, and this is how the how most of the organization works. And Yadunandan's organization works here like this, very effectively working. Top-down approach, according to what I heard from him. But bottom-up approach, very rare. I think it's failing there.
Yeah, true.
So it's failing there. So that's what is the problem. There should be two approach should be used. Both the approach should be used for effective. Because if you just keep pushing from top to bottom and you don't listen, then is the problem. But if you listen too much, don't push anything from top to bottom is also a problem. Sometimes it has happened in our organization. Yes. We just took it easy from top down approach. We did not, we just took it easy. Means we don't push anymore, constantly update process updates and all this. And people took it easy. Hey, everything is relaxed now. Okay, no need to send, no need to do that. Just sit at home, do this. Nobody cares like that. Use this. Okay. So see through that, but top down approach is very important, because all the process governance and the senior management updates and the directions should come from top down approach. This is highly critical. This is also very important. This is a feedback process, and this is an improvement process, and listening process is also as important. So both have to be in place. Goals and objectives. Okay. So business objectives. Now there are business objectives and there are specific goals to be written. Multiple goals, and there should be KPIs, and so maybe you guys, or most of you have a KPIs. You all have a KPI for your role. I'm talking role KPI. I don't know.
Yes, we do have.
Yeah. Okay. So KPIs are there, but let's take a business objective, goals, security objective. Let's take security objective in parallel, and security goals. Goal number 1, goal number 2, goal number 3. And maybe you are working as a tester, security assessor, security tester. Security tester, as a security tester, your goal is to do a good testing and provide a good report, good amount of findings. And actually, that is not the actual goal here is, I think Guru knows, is quality. Quality report and detailed findings and detailed report, value add for customers. So on the KPIs, you will see that metrics. So what and all? Customer satisfaction, when the metrics, customer satisfaction, quality. How do you meet those? And through multiple ways, right? And dependencies, what will enable you to do quality? And we all have to see that, and there should be clear definition and mappings there for everything. So very importantly, we all know we have to keep smart goals, which is we have learnt it in my IBM times or before even. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Anything which is not realistic is not good. Anything which is not time bound is not achieved in a wrong time is useless. Achieved also, achievable still, it should be time bound. It should be measurable. There should be outcomes should be measurable, and it should be very specific outcomes. Okay, so very important. We have 4 minutes time. So how you all the organization should work is have those mission and vision statement, and there are strategic goals, and then there are operational goals, there are tactical goals, there are different types of goals, right? Tactical goals are smaller goals, you know. If you see your all achieving mission and vision, right? Doing the right things, doing things differently, strategic goals, it's defined, specific and measurable. Strategies are defined, long-term and short-term strategy. Long-term below short-term strategies. And then operational goals, so measurable and achievable. Short-term, right? So short-term goals. This became short-term goals actually. So that's operational goals. Doing right things and doing things better. So see, doing things right. It's not right things here. You're doing things right and doing things better, because more on operational front. It's not on strategy, because it's like this is just a preaching, doing the right things, but doing things right here, doing things better. So very important. Many people will be working in an organization. You will not know what is the mission statement. What is the mission statement? What is the vision for the organization? Very important. There is a very clear mission statement. So what is the mission statement? Purpose of the company or organization, right? It should guide through the actions of the organization. Its overall goal, you know, it should provide the directions and you know, guide in decision making, right? So good example of this is you look at this. This guy explains what a company wants to do now. Means it's now. Vision statement says what a company wants to do in future here. Vision, actually it's almost other way, right? Says what a company wants to be in future, means future, seeing through future. This is a binocular approach. Seeing through now directly. Mission. Google mission statement. Okay. I'll tell you there's a lot. This is also a management. These contents might be coming in even in a course like some of these metrics, KPIs and all, CSFs and all comes in PMP also, project management. So because these are the fundamental basic blocks, and it's because it's if you want to meet a quality, we got talk now. I started total quality management TQM. So how do you even bring that you know, quality? Means when total quality management is end-to-end quality without having any indicators, without having any success factors. It's highly impossible that you can bring in a quality without having end-to-end quality. Total quality management implementation. Enablers. You see, customer focus, leadership, process management, quality management, supply quality. It's supply quality. It's not just quality. Employee involvement, because they have to be highly involved. Information analysis, data science, training, results. Then you will see the results will clearly preach where you stand. If you look at vision on the top, goals, objectives, CSS and KPIs, metrics and measures. So that's how it is. Senior management support is very important. Many companies don't have that. Then you cannot. I was talking about, I think we are running out of time. Last slides to tactical goals. Actually, see, operational goals itself was more or tacticalized, but no, there can be tactical goals to achieve your strategic goals. You put up operational guide, operational things, operational procedures. So short aligned best practices. Game of line managers, because the line managers are operational managers. Strategic. More strategic is top manager, senior management. Last, okay, maybe this one is the last because we are closing. So very important, information security there should be an information security program, and there should be information security policy, which is a policy which is governed, you know, which is monitored, which is evaluated on a timely basis updated, and circulated, and it should be circulated across with all the employees have to read through it, and they should understand because they have to adhere to it. So that's where is the information security policy coming in. Baselines or document which is minimum requirement, which is mandatory in nature. Standards are document which is mandatory in nature. So what are discretionary in nature, optional is guidelines. Guidelines are just guidelines. So it's baselines of security configurations, baseline minimum security configuration required, base standards. It's also called. So it's base standards. Organization security policy. That's it. That's what I spoke. It should be mandatory in nature, and it should be coming from top down approach from top management. Assigns, a lot of other additional policies can be defined, like AUP, acceptable usage policy and other policies, data classification policy. So a lot of other things can be defined. Okay, we're stopping. For now.
Okay, Manju.
Too heavy on the head?
CAA part I have gone through a little bit. I mean,
This is good.
yeah. I think I received a document from you only when we were in Siemens initially when you joined. First, you sent me a PDF in that it was starting with CAA.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so
after that, I didn't go through anything. Maybe that was years back. Yeah. Now it's. Yeah.
How about others? All okay?
It's the first day, right? So as on we keep going on, we'll try to understand.
Yeah. Will take time, definitely. Okay, all right.
Yeah, overall it was very good. It was more informational today. Really, it was very good.
I think we need to see some practical illustration. Until then, it will be difficult to remember for you guys.
No, once we go through, we start reading things. So I think we can remember all those things.
All right. So we stop here. I think we'll see next session when we can based on availability.
Yes, Manju. Yeah, depends on your availability, like your convenience.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll close the session
Okay.
from there. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you,
Thanks,
Manju. It was a good
Thanks
one.
for your
Yeah,
support.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye, Yadu. Bye,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, bye.
Bye, everyone. Yeah, thank you all.